Okay, yes, I start this thing. I started it.
Okay, well, hello there, programmers. My name is Ernest,
Hello.
and today we will be summarizing our chapter 7 for our main stack. And today I have Cabello, who will be my peer programmer.
Hello,
Um,
guys. Yeah, my
Pablo,
name is Ernest. Yeah, I'm the navigator and he's the driver. Wait, no, no, he's the navigator. I'm the driver. Say hello. Sure.
okay. Well, today we'll be looking at our chapter 7. Well, our chapter 7 is basically we'll be creating the movie data access object. So this is where we will have all. This is where we can have access to all our different objects. So this chapter basically touches on. Uh, I already mentioned our data access objects, and then it also separates database logic from controllers, and then it handles connecting of movies. It handles connecting of movies collection, and fetches our movies with filter, and then add pagementation, which is our we can say maybe page one, page two, yeah, page three. So that's what our movies. That's what chapter 7 touches on. So it separates our database logic from controllers, and then connecting our movies collection, and then fetch movies with filters. So yeah, Camilo will just show us the coding
Yeah,
of how we get to achieve.
yeah, I know I'll do that just now. Let me just go to my movie reviews, my Deo, movies Deo. Right, so I just need to go over that. All right. So, so what we have here is movies.do.js. So that's what we have here. So what this thing does is we have an if statement where we have all our we inject our DB import object ID from MongoDB to the object ID. So this is pretty much the objects, the objectives and stuff, so on and so forth that we're dealing with. So you got a let variable, it's called movies. So we export default class movies.deo. So this is pretty much our static async. So we're gonna inject our DB into if statement movies, then it's gonna return, try a statement which movies equals await connection, and then it's gonna process our movie reviews and underscore ns, and it's gonna process a collection as well, just movies. So try, pretty much, it pretty much, measures if our thing is successful or it fails. Then catch, just if our processing is unsuccessful, then it's gonna process it. Then it's gonna then gonna connect to our console. Then it's gonna return this error which says unable to connect in movies DAO. You're gonna our static async which is get movies, then filters which equals null, then page equals 0, movies per page equals 20. Then let query if filters if title in filters, then query equals text search filters that title. Then you can else if statement if then else if statement says rated in filters and query equals rated, EQ filters at rated, then we got try, consequence movies at find query, limit movies per page, skip movies per page times page, and then const movies list. Movies list equals await cursor dot to array in total number of movies, await movies that counts documents. Return movies list, total number of movies, catch, and constant error, unable to issue find command. And then return movies list, total number of movies. So just an empty array. Then you're gonna see side async get ratings. This is pretty much getting our ratings, setting up our statements, injecting our DB into our overall statement. Then with the filters object, we then construct a query. So we have query variable which will be empty unless a user specifies filters in its retrieval, which case we'll put together a query. And then yeah, that's pretty much what we have. And queries are very powerful MongoDB. They have showed the text operator. And yeah, that
So the
initializing.
query is what we use to filter out our search.
Yeah, that's what we have our queries. And then we're gonna go
Okay.
over to our index
What is our index doing?
and
Does
then we pretty much import our movie, pretty much import everything that we need import in our index. So you go to our index, import movies data from Dale movies Dale.js, and then yeah, that's pretty much what we do there. Yep. So yeah, that's what we do.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, basically that's that.
Good.
What we have here, you showed us how we connect to our movie collection, and then we fetch movies with filters, like
Yeah.
when we search for the title
Yep.
using your query, and
Yeah.
then also page notation. Okay, awesome. Um, awesome. Can you quickly, do you want to introduce to us our chapter 8, movie controller?
Right. Yeah. I will do that now. Okay. So yeah, obviously we've started this thing, man. It's another day, another chance. Obviously, Ernest, is gonna be helping me go over the chapter 8. Yeah, and got the code for the chapter 8, and yeah, if there's any front end which there isn't, yeah, I'm going over that as well. So yeah, I'm gonna share my screen just now. Just loading. This thing's just loading. So bear with me. Yep, no problem. Right, so chapter 8, creating the movies controller. Next, we'll create the movies controller that the route file will use to access the data file. The API folder, create a new file movies that control.js with the following code. Uh, so import movies data from the movies data.js. Export default class movies controller. Inside the async API, get movies request res next. Current
That you
movies.
going through the code now?
Oh, sorry. So yeah, what we're gonna do next is we'll create the movies controller that the root file will use to access the data file. So what we have here is a movies controller that JS file. So the controller file, what that does is it pretty much helps us create the routes and the functionality for DO file. Pretty much any code that we have on our front end, the controller is responsible for the functionality of that code. So pretty much just the if else statements, the if else statements, the query filters, the request, the API, the get elements. So it pretty much it's pretty much responsible for URLs, if else statements, and our APIs. So it controls all of that. So it pretty much controls like the functionality of the routes and functionality of everything that we have in regards to our DAO. So that's our that's pretty much our controllers. So that's pretty much what we're gonna be going over.
Okay. Well, thanks for that. So let me elaborate more on that.
Yeah. So Ernest is pretty much gonna go over
So
the code for that. So yeah, Ernest, take it away, man. Take it away.
no problem. Well, as you can see in our movies controller, we start by importing our movies DAO from from our file here, which is what Cabello just went through in a previous chapter.
Yeah.
So basically, we our controller is gives our code gives our TP requests. It also reads our query parameters and also calls our movie um, data access object, and then it sends a JSON a response. So basically, that's what this code is going to be doing. So let me just elaborate more here in our steps of in our steps assign of API get movies. So we retrieve a pigmented list of movies with optional filter. This is with this API get movies. So we would have a constant of get movies per page. Where we have a request and here's the query. We have the movie page, and then this is what can I say? It's a string. It's a converter. Into it converts into a integer, and then here in our constant of page, we see which page to be returned. So initially we'll start from page zero, then we count it on to page one, two, three, and then with this filter, we build a filter object for our query parameters or params. So we let our filter take in an empty object, and then we say if our requested query for rated is for rated, here's the body. We say filter rated to be to the request query rated. So this is the rating. It's a query for rating. So the rated, how many stars the movie has been rated. That's how we are searching. We get that's our query here. And then if else, then we get a query for searching by title. So here's we're taking in our query parameters here where we're taking either for rating or by title. And then this our constant here where we're declaring our movie list and total movies. So this is where we fetch our movies from our data access object where we will have an await. It awaits the movie DAO, and then it gets movie. Then it uses get movie to get a movie by filter page and movies per page. And then we go on with this is our JSON response, which I talked about. Because remember, I said this our controller does what it receives HTTP requests. It reads the query, which I just went through now, and then it calls our DAO, and then it sends in a request within a JSON format. So, I mean, a response. So let respond to take in this object of movies page, our filter, our entry per page, and total result. So this is the, what can I say, the JSON response that we're going to get. And then here's our response, which our controller is going to send. And basically, if I want, yeah, basically for our movie control, for our chapter 7, this is what is required for me to explain. Because if I go on now, I'm moving on to chapter 12, where we get in a single movie by ID. But in our chapter 8, I've covered all there is to be covered, which is moving HTTP. I mean, getting our HTTP request, our query, calling out our DAO, and responding with a JSON file or with a JSON formatted answer, and that's what we have here. I don't know. At this point, uh, at this point, I don't know if I should show it via Postman.
You can.
What are you saying?
Yeah, no, I said you can. You can. You can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
So get. Yeah. You can.
so let me just use this example here. Oh my goodness. Oh, I clicked on that. Oh, why? Why? I'm used to. Anyways, I did it for space. I removed auto reader. I removed auto reader, so I'm not used to using this.
It's page 43. Oh, 43 around it. Oh,
Hey, well, let's see. What do I get? We call movies. I wanted to use this one, page 0. Yes. Okay, I want to use Postman. I want to use Postman. So what am I using? I'm using a GET request. But before I do this, I need to make sure my server is running. So backend. Okay, it's running at localhost 5000. GET requests. Well, yeah. As you can see, here's our respond in JSON format, and then here we're just calling all the movies. So I haven't filtered it or anything. So if I can add filter, what filter can I add? Let's see, what filter can I add? Okay.
there's a preprint. But you know what the
Oh,
preprint
that's,
button's for? It's for saying everything nicely, thing up nicely.
yeah, yeah.
But I see it. Yeah, I see it, man.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've tested my application is working so far, no errors.
But
So
did
our movie controller is working.
but did debug it
For
though?
time's sake. Sorry.
You debug it like in press inspect, then check your network stuff like that.
Uh, well, there's no front end. There's no front end, bro. So
There's nothing.
yeah, there's no front end. So there's actually nothing. If there is like debugging, but if we are supposed to debug, which will be a long process, we're supposed to end our our points, you know,
Yeah,
and then we do our step over, step over, step over, step in, and yeah, which we haven't done in a while, so that would take a bit of time. I haven't done that in a while, so that would take a bit of time for me.
no problem, no problem.
Okay, so
Okay,
for time's sake, let me just quickly introduce our chapter 9.
okay, then I'll go with the code. Okay,
Yeah, then you go for the code for us. Okay, our chapter 9.
we actually know because you got
So,
chapter nine.
yeah, yeah, actually, chapter 9 is actually doing what I was doing right now.
Yeah, and also
So,
the
let me just
influx and
quickly
stuff
do
like
that.
that.
Sorry?
And influx and stuff like that. Yeah, and you got everything. Everything's working on your side. So I prefer that I introduce the chapter 9 and then you go over it because at least in your case, everything's working. In my case, my network blocks keep on blocking my MongoDB. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. No, no, don't worry. I'm ready here. There's no need for you for me to send it to you and then waiting for you to share your screen and all that. And I've already touched on this. It's just basically chapter 9 is testing our back end,
yeah,
is testing our go get our movies, is
right,
testing go get filter by rating,
yeah,
and then pagementation.
yeah.
So it's basically I'm already on this page, so you can just look at my screen. So now we're just testing in which I've already started, right? So here I'm testing our first. I'm testing if we're getting all our movies, and here you can see all our movies are being retrieved, right? Fabio, you there with me?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm there. I'm there. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, and then we also have uh, let's test our ratings, filter by ratings. So if I say send, so now we are getting movies that are rated G. So these are movies that are rated G. And then if I go on to for our pigmentation, so I want to get our page 2 since we have a whole lot of movies. So I want to get our page 2. Here, so this is our movies in our second page. So here you can see our query parameter, I would say parameter or params. You can see it's filtered by page. If you are on my screen, Kabel, you see
yeah,
it's filtered by page. So these are the movies in which we're gonna get in our page 2
yeah.
of
See,
our front end. If we do, when we do create our front end. So basically, we're gonna have different pages: page 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we'll limit the number of movies on each page, so we don't have endless. We don't have an endless page.
yeah. As I said,
Uh,
see,
yeah. So basically, that is that. I don't know. I can go more in details. Let me just go through. Let me just go through the textbook because I can see here we have a. That's not supposed to be. We have that's what our chapter 9 is going through. So what are you suggesting? Do we cut the video here and then start chapter 10 on a new video?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah,
Okay.
let's do that.